Hi. So, welcome to another episode of the Take Up Space podcast. This season, we're passing the mic back to Black survivors. We want to hear their healing stories and journeys. And today we have with us
Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I introduce myself?
No, that was a cue.
Cute Meghan.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Exactly. Well, would you like to tell us who you are actually? Yeah. A little introduction.
Okay, I'll do a little intro.
Yeah.
My name is Meghan. Family name Stewart. Descendant of Maroons of Jamaican descent. If you know what that means, we're rebellious and we love sovereignty. So I live that life now. Mom of two beautiful girls. Come from a diverse, multi-racial family, and I'm a settler here on Anishinaabe Algonquin territory. And what that means to me is essentially just ensuring that I am making sure all my efforts essentially consider our Indigenous people. Yeah. So that's me.
Intro.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's just dive right into
Let's
it.
do it, girl. Give me the questions. Give me the questions.
What has your healing journey felt like thus far?
Felt like?
Yes.
Uncomfortable. Liberating. Messy. Vulnerable. Raw. You use more feeling words, and you already know because you work with me, so you already know I'm gonna give you feeling words. Scary. Yeah, definitely like a lot of fear and courageous. That's probably what I would say. It's probably more I can, but those are the feelings that come up for me when I think about it.
I hear you. And when do you feel like this journey began for you?
So, context. I find healing as a word a little bit challenging. Only because healing is seen as, or can be seen anyways, if we were to look at it in the sense of like, you get a cut, you put some polysporin on, you put a Band-Aid on, you take it off, you're quote unquote healed. So healing to me, so when you ask that question, I'm thinking like, I'm thinking about, when the first kind of experience of sexual assault had occurred, and essentially like there is no real arrival per se to me, because it's something that actually informs all the work that I do now and informs my beingness in a way that allows me to be discerning, connective, empathetic, compassionate. So I would say immediately after the experience, whether I was willing to, it took me, I was like 17 and a half when I experienced sexual assault. And it took me until probably like 4 years ago, and I'm 42 now. So probably like when I was 38, it was the first time I had like said to my therapist of like a long time, Black therapist that I was working with, that I had been raped. It took me that long, so my healing didn't start when I admitted it. I think my healing started, right after it. It was this unfortunate experience that opened up a level of awareness to what that actually means, and like what parts of me show up when I experience things like that. And then going back to like childhood and teenage years of like experiencing sexuality with family members, right? And although they may have been consensual or it was consensually blurry, just that as well, like was at the beginning. So I don't know if there's like a concrete time to say that per se, but that is probably the best way I would describe it, or my perception of that question.
No, and it is meant to be interpreted and perceived in your own very personal way. And I think even in the comparing it to a wound, I think, and in the way I was hearing you break it down, it's like, okay, maybe there's a moment when you decide to put some witch hazel on it, maybe some polysporin, but even before that, your body's already like metastasizing the things it kind of needs to do to get you there.
Yeah. And whether that is like even just disassociating and so on, right? And just like whatever it needed to do to help me survive and cope and process it the best it knew how to with it, what it had at the time. And that's that compassionate lens. So I think that is powerful to name. So I appreciate you naming that.
Of course. And what do those healing tools look like for you now?
Well, I'm a mindfulness teacher, trainer, and I live really in the practice. It's not about getting on the cushion in fancy pants, at specific times in certain ways. It's about an embodied practice of contemplation. What am I thinking and what am I feeling? And how is that informing my perception? So that is probably the biggest thing for me. And then everything kind of branches out from there. I think, a lot of the relational parts of healing are the most impactful for me. So whether that be, I have 2 kids, 2 different baby fathers, right? So it's like a whole Netflix special I could do. And just learning, being in a relation with my exes, right? And even still, I have to co-parent with these people, right? And so being in a relation with one that was abusive, the other one, I haven't quite determined if that is, I'm still processing, it's fairly new, and having to still have contact like that and mother my children and make the best choices for them. Right. And, anyway, so I think, that relational element of not just those that have caused me harm, but also like my community, my people, like what you guys offer, that I think that family members, my sister, my brother, that relational learning that happens in the uncomfortable and unpleasant side of being in relationships when the mirrors that are, it's like, you are, and I'm experiencing, and how am I perceiving that? And what are the feelings? And recognizing, okay, well, I abandoned a boundary there because I didn't feel confident or didn't have the capacity or whatever. And noticing those things, like what was my need in that? What was I feeling in that? And was I aware of that in that way? And so like the good or more pleasant sides of being in relation, and also the more unpleasant sides of being in relation with each other, and how that informs us in our own journey. So I think that those are probably the 2 things I would say that stand out the most for me, is the mindfulness and the relational learning.
That's so beautifully put. And it makes me think of how there's so much beauty, but also discomfort and intimacy.
Oh my goodness. Say less. Say less.
Yeah.
Let's say that one more time for everybody. Say that one more time for everyone, please.
I think myself, I don't even know if I want to hear it again.
Right? The discomfort around, the intimacy, right? Because intimacy, I think, we undervalue emotional intimacy. And I had a beautiful experience with you, not to take you away from the hosting role here, but I think that, what I wanted to just highlight is the beauty in the work that I do is like, I really get to know people in a very emotionally intimate way. I suck at small talk. So if y'all have ever seen me on the street and you try to small talk me, I'm like, tell me your trauma. What are you going through?
Don't ask me about the weather.
I'm terrible with that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's because I really value, if I were to name it in a need and values, which is the way that I see the world through the work I do, is that everybody's just this composition of feelings and needs, whether we're aligned with them or not, and it informs our perceptions. But essentially, like, we had this beautiful, intimate experience where I got to witness you discovering yourself. So experiencing that self-discovery and allowing for that to, for you to really be intimate with yourself on such a deep level, and that spaciousness, and so for me as a facilitator, it's like so important to offer that spaciousness, because actually personally a part of my healing journey is the ability to have that spaciousness where I can sit with myself and listen to my thoughts, notice what I'm seeing, in that mental projector, and feeling into my somatic and emotional body. And that's why mindfulness has been so powerful for me. So that piece of discomfort, safety, is like being able to sit in that discomfort with someone, like, ooh, this is unpleasant, this is uncomfortable, and be held in that, and still be seen and heard fully in that. Ooh, that's a scary. I like goosebumps. It's a scary. It can be a scary and uncomfortable place, right? Especially when you have trauma where people have taken advantage of that. Yeah. Where you open up and you provide that emotional intimacy and you're not emotionally safe.
Right. Right.
So it's hard. It can be very uncomfortable. So thank you for naming that.
Yeah. Well, now I'm a little bit like I'm sitting differently in my body. I think part of what's been really beautiful about holding space for people's stories, and I think there's a part of me that's like, this isn't about me, actually. I just want to be a container for you. But I think part of what's really funny is that you can't actually be in relation with anyone without that. Yeah.
With that inward work with yourself. Yeah.
And I remember, I guess I'll just share the experience we had with the rest of our community. But Meghan was actually holding space for the PA team during a staff team retreat we had, and we did this really beautiful mindfulness meditation. And I remember kind of going into it and just being like, all right, well, I guess we'll just meditate. And it took me places that I didn't think I could go. And I remember going back home after that weekend, and I'm like telling my sister and my friends, and I'm like, equanimity, martyrdom. you gotta see, hear, feel. And they're like,
you gotta try this recipe. It's like a good recipe. It's like the best pie you've ever had. And let me tell you the ingredients. It is sensory clarity, equanimity, concentration.
Yeah. And I sounded like I had a tinfoil hat on me, but I was like, I swear, it was so real.
Put your phones in the microwave. We digress, but thank you for sharing that.
Of course, but another thing that actually brings me to is, and this is another question I've been asking some of the folks in our community, especially with the work that you do. What's it like to be a healer that's also still healing?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. I really, 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 I really enjoy the humility that comes with not knowing everything. So I go in with some knowledge.
Yeah.
And that is really the inner wisdom. In Buddhism, we call it prana. And so that inner wisdom of being with myself and what intuitively shows up for me and so on. And also knowing that I am going to learn things about myself. And am I open to that? And, the beauty of that, like I really do value learning.
Right.
So to me, it's beautiful and it's expansive and it's transformative because I am always learning. Like even on that retreat, I learned a lot about myself, even in that retreat space. Right. And that, informs my own healing too. And I think also the other thing I would say is, something that's been coming up for me a lot lately on this journey too, which might answer another question, we've kind of grazed over earlier, is just I don't know if it's a dichotomy or a paradox, but whatever word we want to put on it. It's just recognizing that self-love or loving ourselves and caring for ourselves can be lonely.
Yeah.
And something I don't know if we always talk about that. I think self-love is like glorified as like this like really beautiful thing. And, yes, I mean, it is to an extent, but the beauty also includes many other thoughts and sensations and feelings as well, including loneliness. And when you choose to really love and care for yourself, there's a level of like dating yourself, and you can't do that with necessarily like you can't only do that with other people.
Right.
So my self-love practice and caring and loving myself definitely has involved relational learning, right? And those levels of emotional intimacy that we're talking about. And it's also included like I just need to sit with myself. Right. And for me, it's being in more heteronormative dynamics up to this point, even though I identify as a sexually fluid person, that, those heteronormative, like internalized dynamics of centering the male gaze has like been such a huge practice for me as well in that journey. And that can be lonely.
Definitely.
Like you're seeking that validation, but it's like it comes from within.
Yeah.
But you have these auto responses that come up and you're like, oh, I'm dressing for, looking for.
Yeah.
But all stuff that like I wouldn't tolerate with any of my friends, my sisters, my family, like, you know, and and just recognizing the pattern of tolerating those things for the sake of, you know, how I believe my self-worth was tied to that male gaze, you know, and that self-love piece of like loving myself enough to feel the feelings, like you described in that meditation, is like to really just be with ourselves, really be with, even the discomfort, right? And not always when others are around it's a journey. No arrival. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
And it even makes me think of like, and I think what I also really learned from the way you showed up for us in that practice was that like the really important question of like almost like feeling and seeing and hearing all the things that you are, but like being willing to go even deeper. It's like, okay, so what am I actually yearning for? And
what's my need?
Yeah. And I think also in the way that you're describing self-love, I think when you were talking, the things that were coming up for me was almost like you can't treat it like a fast food meal. Like it's actually like a pot pastry that you have to make from scratch. And
it's like a buffet of that.
Yeah.
And you got to prepare all those things.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads me
metaphorically,
literally. But that leads me to the question of what goes into Meghan's personal self-love recipe.
Oh, spaciousness. I have a deep need for clarity and emotional safety. So, and intimacy. So what that means for me, if I were to look at those three ingredients, so wants and needs are two different things. So I'll just preface with that. So those that are listening, we might want, I don't know, something. I might want you to show up for me in this way. I might want you to text me in a certain way or talk to me in a certain way or whatever, or consider me. But what is the real need behind it? And so for me, you know, those are kind of the three things. And clarity is not about, needs are so let me back it up a bit. Needs are based on the practice of nonviolent communication, but I really fuse it with mindfulness. So it's nonviolent consciousness to me. And what that essentially means is like, outside of it being a tool for pathologizing and a prescriptive practice to the way that you manage conflict, which you only pull out when you're in conflict, when there's the potential for violent communication. It's an embodiment practice for me of noticing my needs and then making choices and decisions moment to moment based on that. And so clarity as something that I am responsible for fulfilling for myself looks like I need to know. You guys saw me do it at the retreat. I walked in and someone tried to talk to me right away. And I said, just give me a moment. I just need to orient myself to the space. Spaciousness is, I want space because I actually have such a deep need for clarity.
I see.
If there's tons of sensory stimulus, I'm not able to orient myself to the space. And it's not just that experience. It's like in everything. I need time and space to be able to hear my own thoughts, see my own thoughts, and feel into myself. And, you know, that other piece of emotional safety is like, then I need to be able to explore it, right?
Yeah.
Give myself the room to explore it. So if I decide to overpack my day, I'm not honoring those two needs, right? And so those are kind of the ingredients, I would say, is those three. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, wow. And I think there's also something so beautiful about like being able to not just like name them, but I actually know that these are my different pathways to like fulfill that need for myself. And if healing had a texture, a taste, a sound, if it was something you could hold in the palm of your hands, how would you describe it?
Lauren, I'm going to have to go through each sensory category for that.
That's okay. Yeah.
A texture. I don't know what the texture would be. What was the other sensory?
A texture, a taste.
A taste. I would say like a hot and honey.
Okay.
Like a hot and honey.
Got it.
Yeah, like a hot and honey, like a hot and honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas like, oh, you got that garlic, the spices and the honey, but also
it's hot. Yeah.
it kicks you.
Yeah.
It kicks you.
Yeah.
You know, like a good hot.
And it'll like burn in the back of your throat for a little bit.
It's like, you know, and you can only take so much. So I think it's like the potency, you know,
maybe in doses, maybe not every night.
And that, I think the clarity of, I think that is a part of the healing is like having doses of when you can, you know, because sometimes I just want to be and I need to rest, and rest also is resistance to me. It's like that need for rest is calls on me often, and I'm still valuable when I'm resting.
Of course.
You know, I'm not here to be only of value when I'm the martyr and I'm, you know, in roles of carrying outwardly or being quote unquote productive and so on. Sometimes it's just, I'm reading a smut book, I'm sitting in the bathtub or whatever, and that's it. And I'm doing literally nothing.
Oh, that's healing too.
Right? So I don't know if I answered all your questions.
The last one was sound. What would it sound like?
I would say the ocean. Oh, water sign. So like, yeah, the ocean. It's like sometimes the tide's high, sometimes it's low, and just like the impermanence. Not there's a rhythm to the ocean, but is it the same all the time? No,
I see.
Ever changing.
Oh, that's a really good one too. Okay, I have one last question, and then we can go back and explore whatever you want to explore further. So, in the moments where you felt most like yourself, or maybe even like you were stepping into a new version of yourself, what was happening around you, inside you? What did you feel like you were experiencing?
Oof. Okay, let's break that down one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Around, inside.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I felt most like myself, what did that feel like?
Yes. Or what did you feel like you were experiencing, or like almost if we had to like go back there and like revisit that rebirth?
Free, sovereign. I would say those are the two strongest ones that come up for me. I've done some IFS work, internal family systems. And, you know, you talk about the core of yourself. I see you nodding, so I know you know what I'm talking about. It's a really good book, No Bad Parts. I could challenge it from a decolonizing therapy perspective, but anyways, this isn't school, so I won't start citing things. But it is a good read. No Bad Parts. They have it on an Audible as well. So, and great practices. And so one of the acknowledgements or recognitions in it is recognizing our core self. So when you ask that question, that comes up for me, and my core self is nurturing. And so to the core, all the parts that kind of came, right, the defender, the manager, and so on and so forth. At the core of it was the nurturer. I just love people, and I care so deeply for people that the only time the defenders and managers and so on would step in is when that was either being taken advantage of or there was some type of harm that was caused. And so those beautiful parts of me came out, were like, sis. Yeah. Sis. We gotta read this. We're not okay with this. Anger is always such a great indicator. And it's so sacred, you know. Hey, something's wrong. It's a no, you know. And so so for me, I think that is just nurturing. It's like being able to express that nurturing in a way that is appreciated and safe and generous. Yeah. Say that.
And treating it like it's something sacred.
Yes.
Yeah.
And valuing it, right? Really valuing it.
Yeah. And I love that the word, I feel like you've used the word sovereign a couple times. What does sovereignty look like in relationship to healing for you?
Like self-governing, right? And it looks like resiliency, but not in the oppressive way of like resilience only comes from adversity, and that it's this heavy thing that especially Black women, we have to carry, right? Like racialized bodies, but women in particular that we have to carry, non-binary identifying individuals that have to carry these like adversity trophies to say, okay, now you're resilient, right? So not in that way, but more resilience in the sense of like what equanimity offers us, right? Which is like that deep radical compassion of like, I'm doing the best that I can in each moment, even if it's not my best, with the capacity I have, and that resilience that allows you that comes from, like I was saying, I've done a 10-day silent meditation retreat. And so when you can't talk to anybody and you're literally just with yourself, no phone, no journal, like no books, you're not even allowed to bring books. So you're literally with yourself all day.
Yeah.
There is a resilience to our emotional reactivity and our emotional presence.
So brave.
And so that for me is what I mean by resilience. It's like I can be with all the feelings that come up and know that I will be okay. Yeah. Textures of okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Renditions of
spectrum.
okay.
That okay as a spectrum, right? Whether it's 10% or I'm at 99, right? And so that's what I mean by resilience. That I don't have to be enslaved to my emotions.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your full question. You had other parts to that question?
No, but I think that was a really beautiful way to answer it still. And I love that there's so many different, yes, there's the feeling, but there's a why behind it, and there's a how you hold it, and also in the how you hold it, there's am I holding it too tight, and there's levels and textures to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me too of what I was sharing at the retreat about the drama triangle of the hero, the villain, and the victim. It's really about like usually how conflict is managed, but I think I see that drama triangle kind of play out also further in our systems and trickling down into like from a societal level as well, and how sometimes there's the validity of I am a victim of how sometimes there's the validity of I am a victim of past experiences of abuse, absolutely, sexual assault and so on, and also how much we might tell ourselves and continue to tell ourselves unconsciously and sometimes consciously, that can shape that we might be in different dynamics and choose almost like a victim role or identity that's like disempowering to us. And I think that that's where the relational learning happens. We need other people to remind us, like, although this experience is valid, this is where IFS comes in, right? It's like repurposing those parts of us that show up and saying, hey, you can do a new job now. I'm safe with Fanta.
Yeah.
Fanta got me like that. I'm safe with Fanta, so I don't need to show up to her when she gives me uncomfortable feedback as the defender, or when we're about to have a conversation where she might have to set a boundary with me to care for herself better. And so I don't need to show up that way. I'm not the victim in this situation. However, I was a victim in other situations. And just being able to really be with both of those truths at the same time is challenging. No arrival, like I'm saying. What I'm saying right now, it's not you need to get here. I never tell people that. It might sound simple or like natural to me, but I'm telling you, there are many gritty, gutty moments in there.
Like there's levels, like Jumanji.
I love Jumanji.
Okay, one last question. So, in sitting with this podcast and what we really wanted to do, so much of what came up was archives and collecting stories, but not just collecting them, but really holding space for them and preserving them and cherishing them. And so say what we're recording right now were to meet someone 100 years from now, be it a stranger, a descendant, maybe another Black survivor, what would you really want them to know about you? And yeah,
that's loaded.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What would I really want them to know about me?
Yeah.
That is a challenging question. I sit on two opposite ends of the spectrum for that. It's like the detachment of the ego of like, I'm not relevant. So that humility part, and then also that I am relevant and that my legacy, is important as a human. So it's like both sides of that. So there's somewhere in the middle, I would say. Um, that quote just comes to me, but it's not actually related to the question about an Indigenous I was listening to. Is through school, we had this assignment. I was listening to this Indigenous elder share storytelling and the importance of storytelling. And he said, be careful the stories that you tell, because once the stories come out, they're out there and they cannot be taken back, essentially. So that comes to mind for me. I'm like, I'm mindful of that. I think I would say that what I would want them to know about me is that I love love.
Oh,
Yeah, that I love love, and that or
maybe that's enough.
yeah, maybe that is that is enough. Like, the love is beautiful. And yeah, I love it. Every texture of love. Give it to me.
I love that. Thank you, Meghan.
Oh, God, girl.